If you had a choice between immediately getting $1 million or spending 5 minutes with God, which would you choose and why?
Dude.
I'll let you answer that one. I'll answer after. $1 million or 5 minutes with God?
Oh my God. That's a tough one.
Not for me.
I mean, it's only tough because I'm scared of choosing the God choice. You know, like,
Why is that?
scared in terms of like, not scared, oh my God, I'm scared for my life, but just like nervous. Like, you know, I believe in God. You know, I was raised Catholic by my mom, and, you know, even though I don't practice anymore, I still, you know, I still believe. And over like time, have gotten used to the idea of, okay, like, we're all gonna die at some point, and become at peace with death. And I've learned to become a lot less scared of death just by knowing Jason and everything that he's told me about. I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound so bad, you know? And choosing $1 million feels greedy, but then choosing God is like, you know, what if you meet him and you come back to your normal life and nothing's the same?
Well, you
And then you have
gain
to-
wisdom after meeting him.
You gain wisdom, and then you have to live the rest of your life, you know, until it's your time to go, and then you get to see him again. And it's like one of those, and then if you choose none, then shame on you. You know, like,
Straight up.
I mean, I would want to choose. I'd want to choose God.
Mama, don't judge me for this. Fam, don't judge me for. I'm choosing $1 million.
Really?
Well, the reason why I say that is,
way.
number one, I'm gonna die one day, so I'm gonna be before God one way or another. Two, I walk with God every day. I pray with God every day. I honestly have a relationship with God.
That's a great answer.
With that being said, I'm taking the $1 million because it's not that I'm putting money over God. I'm already spending time with God. $1 million is going to allow me to do for my family, for my friends, and set a foundation to set up generational wealth. So I'll take that opportunity. It's not that I'm going to ignore God, but I walk with God already.
Right.
You know, that is our Father up in heaven. So to me, it's a no-brainer, $1 million. Why am I going to give up $1 million for something I do every day anyways?
You know,
Straight up. That's just me, though.
that's one way to look at it. You know, I'm not really a materialistic person. You know, I know that shit can happen in your life, and in case of an emergency, it would be nice to have $1 million. But nowadays, $1 million can just go by like super quick.
$1 million ain't what it used to be.
It ain't what it used to be. And I don't know. There's just something about like meeting God. Like, I'm also very nervous because it's like, what if he doesn't like me?
Listen,
This is just me overreacting. This is just me like.
I look at it this way. I got my accident. I got a taste of life after this one. And I can confirm there is a life after this one. And through all the chaos, the connection I felt with God, especially living now with everything I've been through.
Right.
Like, I'll tell you, like, yesterday was crazy for me. I couldn't sleep. I honestly don't know what's going on. It's like, you know, when you're falling asleep, but then you feel like you can't breathe and you're falling and shit. It was like one of those things. And immediately I started praying because my mom has taught me, when you're in a situation that you don't feel in control and you're not at peace, repent and, you know, pray to God and ask him to take whatever burden your mind's on, to calm you and put you at peace. And I think, you know, not to go on a tangent, having a relationship with God is different from knowing about God. A lot of people know of God, but they don't have a relationship.
Right.
And why I say that is, like, especially when I used to go to church, a lot of people think that, oh, because they go to church and they follow the schedule, that automatically means that they're good. But you have to have a relationship. And one thing that I have to say, and again, this is no disrespect to the elders, you never judge somebody for their relationship with God. Every person that has a relationship with God is custom.
Right.
It's between them and God. You don't weigh in and be like, oh, you gotta increase it. You don't know what's going on. You don't know what battles I'm fighting. That's between me and God. And with that being said, it's a no-brainer. Again, 100 million or choose something I'm already doing.
So 2 things.
Yeah.
The first one is this is why I don't really hold grudges, or I don't really judge anyone, you know, based on their faith, etc. You know, my answer most of the time whenever somebody like irritates me or somebody questions like, oh, like, why aren't you upset with this person? Oh, this person should go to hell. Blah, blah. My answer is, that's between them and God.
And it's exhausting.
You know, that person will get what's coming to them. They will learn their lesson. And, you know, if they want to, you know, beg for forgiveness, then, you know.
Listen, I was talking to my brother, my VP, right? And we were talking about, you know, relationship with God. I said, one thing I learned, I'm not trying to be like God, nor would I ever try to be like God. You know what I'm saying? I'm being myself.
Right.
And I think people confuse that when they talk about that because they think, oh, you have to behave like God. No. God,
No. Right.
Mind you, we're not perfect. We're never going to be perfect. That's why we repent and we ask for forgiveness.
Right.
Live your life and use the method that God has taught us and put in our hearts to honestly bless the world and to live a righteous life.
Which is why the second thing is, like, I would hate to pick, in this scenario, to pick God, meet him, and then him, like, deep down, he's like, deep down, I know you wanted to choose, like, the first one, like, why did you come here? And I'm like, oh my God, you're absolutely right. And it's like, you know, that's selfish of me. Because deep down, I would want to choose $1 million. Because
everyone's different.
I've always had a problem with accepting the way that I feel about certain things. When I was younger, it used to scare me that I would feel a certain way. So, like, you know, Jason, you love to be honest and say what's on your mind. You're not scared to speak the truth. When I was younger, you know, like, you know, my teenage years and then very young, like, you know, 20, 21, those would be like my inner thoughts. So you speaking out loud, like, I would be thinking that and I would never want to say it out loud. And even having the thought of, like, you know, let's say you see somebody walking down the street that's acting completely out of pocket, like, out loud, you say, that's so disrespectful. That guy is, like, so out of pocket. And in my head, I would think exactly what you're saying out loud, and I would feel guilty of just thinking it.
Well, you can't.
You know, so I've always struggled with that, and I had to come to terms with, I have to embrace that I feel a certain way. Like, no, I'm upset at you for making me feel this way, or, oh my God, that person is being super disrespectful. You know, like voice my opinions in a respectful manner, because I'm not disrespectful either.
I mean, be yourself, yo. I know I'm very shot out. And the reason I'm like that, because number one, I'm on the journey of peace. And anytime you suppress what you feel or what you really want to say, it does more damage to you. You don't give that to people because, number one, most people don't deserve that. Be who you are. Either they're going to like it or not. But either way, that's not your problem.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So Deathism Rock says he chose 5 minutes with the man above. And he also said he is God-fearing for a reason, but he will have enough answers to give you, which is worth than $1 million.
See, now when he says that, he has all the answers. You're right, he does.
Bro, I don't know if I want to know all the answers, though.
There you go.
Like, I've said it a few times in this podcast, and you can hate me on this. You know, sometimes I like to live in my own delusional world. Every time, you know, Jason or Lewis or my boyfriend, like, they're talking about, like, you know, war or politics or, like the reality of stuff. I'm just like, can we talk about something else? You know, trust me, I hate myself for it, too, but I would rather die happy and delusional. And I know that sounds crazy.
What?
I know that sounds crazy. I don't mean delusional. It's probably a little dramatic. I mean, like... Oblivious. Yeah, like, just innocent, you know, just... My
don't ask the questions to the things you don't want
answers for. Period. My coworker asked me this today. He's like, "What do you want out of life? Like, what's your goal? Like, what do you want?" And I said, honestly, not a lot. I just, you know,
ignorance is bliss.
Bro, ignorance is bliss. But yeah. I said I want to eat good food. And I want to see good, and I want to see amazing art, and I want to hear amazing music, and I want to see everything that life has to offer. And I want to experience all of it before I die, and experience great epic love, which I'm already experiencing. So that's already one thing checked down on my list. But, you know, just experience, like, the good shit in life.
So final thoughts.
I think I would choose $1 million.
You choose a million. There's nothing wrong with that. My final thoughts on it: we all have a destination with God at the end of the day. That's
do.
inevitable.
We
And
do.
with that being said, I will live my life and try to do my best. And when it comes to judgment, He knows my heart. And my mom used to ask me a question: if you were to die today, you know where you're going? And I can honestly say, I'm going to heaven.
Yeah.
The way I live my life, I'm not proud of the things,
Mm-hmm.
but because I'm willing to repent and ask for forgiveness, I'm never going to be perfect, nor do I ever want to be perfect. But I could acknowledge my mistakes and be wholesome and truthful. So
You know, everyone's experience with death or and whatnot is always so different. Like on the internet, you always hear different stories and different versions. And after knowing Jason, you know, it kind of
Logic.
just. Sorry that I used your government name.
Thank you.
I apologize.
Mm-hmm.
After knowing Logic, I have become less scared.
Really?
Yeah, because I mean, before I met you, what did I know about death? I've never had a near-death experience, or I've never had to experience someone close to me pass away, you know, fortunately. But the thought of it always kind of like scared me a little bit, like, oh my God, like what's gonna happen, this and that, you know, I haven't lived enough. And like after knowing you and talking to you, like everything in this life happens for a reason.
Facts. The book of life is written. We just get to choose which chapters we value the most.